Happy Independence Day! Is there anything more American than criticizing the latest piece of Star Wars media? If there is, I don't know what. The Acolyte! So, what are we doing? And, I don't want to act like this episode dives off a cliff, but this slips right back into the problems that I had with episode 4. I lose track of the numbers, partially because you dropped 2 episodes on the first thing. Disney stopped doing that. Anyway, I keep bitching about it, but they keep doing it. Regardless, this just falls right back into the issues I had with 2 episodes ago, which is that this is slow, weirdly paced, doesn't seem to be moving things forward, seems to be more about checking off bullet points on the plot outline rather than actually doing anything with it. And it's really disappointing because the previous episode managed to do a lot while also moving the plot forward. You know, going through the plot points, giving us all these moments of action and some generally pretty good stuff, while also giving us bits of characterization and hints of interesting ideas that could be delved into more. And then we get to this one and we're not really delving into those issues. We're giving them about the same surface level acknowledgement that they got in the last episode. Now, I let you get away with it last episode because I was like, ooh, are they introducing stuff that they're going to dig into more? And the answer is no. They were acknowledging stuff that they are going to continue to acknowledge and not really dive into. What do I mean by that? Well, the moral code, debatable, I suppose, but the supposed moral code of the Sith being the big one. Like, there were some interesting things dropped in the previous episode. The fact that, I'm just going to call him the Sith. I can't remember his name in this. It starts with a Q. I don't remember. But, I have to call him the Sith, otherwise I'm just going to call him Jason. Because that's what I think of him as from The Good Place. Boy, if they could have him throw a Molotov cocktail, oh, that would make my day. Anyways, the thing about the Sith, while he says, you might call me Sith, the wording on that is ambiguous enough. You're like, wait, are you actually a Sith? Or are you kind of pointing out the fact that the Jedi flatten basically everybody who does not interact with the Force in the way that they deem to be correct altogether? The Jedi lump them all together and labels it as dark side. We kind of got a little bit of a hint of that with the backstory with the witches, who not very much about their espoused beliefs or how they were approaching things seemed to line up with what we're used to seeing with the Sith, but they still knew that the Jedi think of them as dark side just because it's not what the Jedi do. So there was a lot more to dig into that, and it got poked at a little bit in the previous episode. Or like when Soul was all like, you killed a child, and the dude's just like, yeah, you brought her here, which is true, dude. You brought a child soldier and that child died. Is that the fault of the person who killed her? Or is it your fault for bringing her here in the first damn place? It's got to be at best 50-50 on that. She shouldn't have been there if you're so concerned about a child dying. Like, there's this introduction of interesting ideas, and then we get to this, which has every opportunity to delve more into those ideas, and it just pokes at them. Maybe a little more than it did last time, but for the most part, he's just espousing the same anger, fear, thing that we've always heard from Sith. Like, there was a chance to really do something, to really dig into the idea of, like, yes, it can be anger, yes, it can be fear, but at its heart, the Sith are about feeling their feelings, about passion. And passion, yes, can be directed in those ways, but passion can also be love. Passion can be joyful. It does not have to inherently be destructive. We've generally seen it that way with the Sith, and I'm not even saying that's necessarily a problem with how the Sith have been depicted up to this point, because, the pull towards power does tend to bring not great stuff out of people. I'll freely acknowledge that, but there's still more aspects than just feel your anger sort of thing, but it's more of that. Like, there's so much more you could have done with this, and it just doesn't. Like, here's the thing. This, not only does this not have enough episodes, it's not even necessarily that this episode is bad. What makes this episode bad is the fact that it is episode 6 of 8. That is ultimately what makes this a bad episode. If this was episode, I don't know, 12 of 16, I'd feel different about it because I'd be like, we've still got time. But here, like, there's 2 episodes left. Next episode's going to be the reveal of whatever the hell they've been holding back about what happened when Osha and May were kids. And then the episode after that's going to be the action climax. Like, that's it. They've blown it. They've blown their time to explore these ideas. Well, okay, not objectively. Theoretically, they could still explore these ideas more. But the way that this show has been paced up to this point, I don't trust them to use these last 2 episodes efficiently. There's been 1 episode of really efficient storytelling. That was the previous one. The ones prior to that, I was giving a pass up until episode 4 because, like, there was enough interesting ideas being laid out, but then episode 4 just plodded along, connecting the narrative dots, but not moving any of the ideas forward. And that's when the spell largely was broken. And episode 5 showed me, like, okay, maybe that was just a hiccup, but now we're back to this straight again. I'm like, okay, no, you don't know what you're doing. And it's not that the ideas are bad. A lot of these ideas are ideas I would really like to see explored further. They're cool ideas, but 8 episodes? It really feels like they made a pitch. They were told they were going to have 8 episodes. And what they did was plot it out so that all the narrative beats could be hit within those 8 episodes. But the thing is, if you're going to do something that's longer than a single film, especially if it's going to be a TV show, you need to have time to both deal with the narrative plot beats and characterize and explore your philosophical ideas, assuming you have some. Like, if you're just more surface level, we're just here to have fun, that's fine. But if you're going to start to poke at bigger ideas, you need to have the time to explore those ideas, and this doesn't have it. This thing literally needs to be twice as long as it is, because 8 episodes, it has enough time to just give us the plot beats that are on the outline, and almost nothing else. And while I think these ideas are good, the people behind the show are not good enough at integrating philosophical notions along with narrative plot beats to do both at the same time. They very clearly can largely only do one or the other. I feel like at this point, episode 5 was the fluke. The episode where they were actually moving the plot forward and bringing us a little bit deeper into these philosophical ideas, that was the fluke. And I don't trust them to be able to do that with these last 2 episodes. Would I like to be wrong? Absolutely. I mean, generally, whenever I say, I don't think this is going to work or I think this is falling apart, I want to be wrong. I pretty much always want to be wrong. But I don't have faith in this. Am I going to finish it? Yeah, there's only 2 episodes left. But not only is there not much to this episode, there should have been. There should have been so much going on here, conceptually, intellectually, philosophically, and there just isn't. Not that we haven't seen before, at least. Like, there's still some neat ideas. The fact that the helmet that the guy wore is basically a sensory deprivation tank, that's kind of a cool idea. I like that he likens it to the blast shield that, like, Luke put on when he was training with the remote way back in A New Hope. You know, he likens it to that and the idea of, like, you just connect through the Force. Now, part of me did wonder, does that make this Sith dude, like, way overpowered that he had his senses dampened like that and it was only through his connection with the Force? Like, maybe, but then again, you think about it, the Sith have always been really overpowered, at least in the depictions that I've always seen of them, because they are always vastly outnumbered by Jedi. Always, 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 and they always kick a whole lot of butt. So I'm not sure he's any more overpowered than the Sith pretty much always are. So I'll let that go. And again, conceptually, I think that's a neat enough idea. And really kind of shows the angle at which he's coming at all this stuff from. The stuff with May and Soul, like, boy, that truly went nowhere. Like, the little sniffer guy, he's cute, sure, but does he exist for any reason other than someone to notice on the ship, hey, that's not Osha? Because we keep cutting back to him, and I'm like, okay, look, you're cute, but you have not been given much personality beyond sniffs things, and you keep eating up screen time, and I don't know why. By contrast, Pip, the droid, gets reset to factory settings, and that's just casually done. I'm not a fan of that, because, like, one of the, I would say at this point, the big unexplored area for Star Wars is the fact that the droids are clearly fully sentient and aware, but are also slaves. This has been touched on super briefly as a goddamn joke in Solo. But it's not a joke. These things are thinking, feeling, they have wants, desires, and they have no agency in their lives. Like, this is something that has so much potential to dig into, the fact that droids are treated this way, and to see it done casually here, knowing that Disney will never properly exploit that idea. And I know they never will, because to properly acknowledge how mistreated the droids are is going to be, at least offhandedly, a condemnation of how they were treated by the heroes of this story up to this point. You can't really acknowledge that droids are kind of slaves without then going, oh, Han, Luke, and Leia had slaves. And like, here's the thing. There are the people who are going to go, oh, woke, you ruined it. Like, there will be that. I'm discarding them. I don't care about them. But there will be fans who genuinely feel like it taints their experience of the characters that they love, because now they have to view them through a lens they're not comfortable with. And Disney they're too much of a cowards to do that. They'll never do it. So, again, like this, I'll finish it. I won't get to the last 2 episodes until 2 weeks from now. I'm going on vacation, but what did you think of this? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills, enables me to do this as a living. I know I'm rushing it. My battery's almost dead on my camera, so thank you very much for watching. We take a relaxed attitude around here. Come on back next time you need a break. Made it. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfula, Goddess Elida, Oliver B., Melissa Pedersen, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Jean Foray, Ulrich Bogdan, Loki Eris, Linda Walters, Jen, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Renabulax the Poodle, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperol, Dave Hall, Quite Bearish, Rosalind Bennett, Toku Bluhuvian, Pao Rabajagal, and Mara G. If you'd like to hear your name in the credits, or even just see them, there are rewards on the Patreon, so maybe check those out.